steering wheel. Lapse the steering wheel, yeah. Give him steering wheel. Hey, steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on! Whoa!
Your leg, can I please? Your leg hip.
How the f*** is this possible?
I'm driving like a grandma. Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? Number radio. Ralph, acknowledge. Now, come on, close him down and kill him. We've got a lunatic on the track. Down that mistake.
I am so annoyed.
Boys and girls, your attention, please.
Hello and welcome back inside the Park from A for podcast. What is this? 900 and oh gosh, I gotta look up 93. Amazing. Whew. It's a lot of podcasts, folks. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
AKA Negative Camber. You know why I've asked you here.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
I mean, why not? I am harmless, for crying out loud. Tonight, for your kind consideration, we're covering F1. We're going to cover one MBS. Mohammed bin Salman moves to remove the FIA president's term limit. And we're going to talk about compression ratios. We're going to talk about the engine war issues, the active aero ban. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about this evening. But before doing that, of course, I have to introduce my co-host. That means I have to go all the way to the right coast of America, nestled near but not in our nation's capital. You know her, you love her, the lovely, the redoubtable.
Grace!
How you doing, Grace?
I'm doing good, Todd. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel a little pain for our friend, your and my friend, one Paul Charsley.
Yeah.
And his miserable weekend at Daytona. That was not good. Yeah. But hey, you know, Aston Martin, Heart of Racing, they'll bounce back.
That's right. That's right.
I got faith in young Paul.
Yes, the youngest of the Pauls. That's right.
Young Paul Charslini.
That's right.
Yes,
he's got it.
I do.
The Charslini.
I do. But there was other racing this weekend. Not to get disappointed. Got to squeeze in a little MotoGP this weekend.
Right.
That was always good. I'm
got
sure
a lot
we'll
of
talk about that.
A lot going on this weekend. This is like
we do.
This is when all the sports combined all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa.
I know.
I'm busy, people.
Got all the sport things going on this
That's
weekend.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there you go. And I'm also feeling bad, you know, for Paul about West Ham getting relegated. That's not good. But Pierre Gasly is super, super happy that PSG won against Arsenal. Did you see the video of him with his dog standing in front of his TV and the missed final goal, and he's jumping up and down? His dog's like, "Whoa, what the heck is going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty happy.
He's like, "Earthquake! Whoa, calm down, man."
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping for you there'd be like a one-man celebration outside of St. Louis. Just you running up and down the street with pots and pans if Arsenal
Pots and hands, banging pots and pans. Yay! I won Premier and Champions. Yay!
I'm that one guy that celebrates the sport that nobody else is watching.
Right. Yeah. Yay. Me and Lewis were like this.
That's right. Very much so. But also not living outside of St. Louis. I mean, that's the part. Lots of people follow soccer. Just perhaps not in your neck of the woods, right? That's,
no. But I think Lewis would like it out here.
Yeah.
I think he would. So, Lewis, I know you're an avid listener. Next time you're in St. Louis, let me know.
That's right.
I'll put together a bolognese for you, and
that would be nice.
Have a bottle of cab, and you can enjoy watching all the deer and flora and fauna out here in the forest.
And the 4 dogs and the 2 cats. It'll be great. I'm sad to laugh. You can take him to walk the dogs. It'll be fun.
Yeah, you can bring his dog. You know?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I found out I ordered a new harness for my dog. And it's a complicated, long story I'm not going to bore anybody with. But I was looking up after I had ordered them. I thought, oh, that's cool. And something popped up on my feed about it, of course, because the algorithm now is just, force feeding you.
You looked at this for 5 seconds, yes.
Yeah, I looked at it, made a quick purchase, and now all I get is just a barrage of emails and everything else on dog stuff. Mm-hmm. But one of the promotional pictures in their campaign was Lewis with Roscoe, and they were on a couch, and Roscoe had the same harness. And I thought, if it's good enough for Roscoe, it's got to be good enough for my dog.
Now you need an Angela to carry your dogs around.
Hey, amen. Yeah.
and help you walk them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, Flip once sent me. I mean, I'm sure you see these what it's like when the husband helps with the chores, and of course he's still on chore 1, and she's like moved on to chore 5.
Yeah.
And Flip sent me that once, and he's like, "Hey, this must be what it's like to live with me." And now that's like my whole entire feed. I'm like, "Hey, isn't this funny? Like, you started this. Like, I was not looking for these videos, but now that you sent it to me once, apparently that's all I'm going to get." So
Right. I keep thinking in paid social terms. You keep feeding me all this stuff. If the upside of that is they don't know I bought one, which is good. I don't want them to know.
Yeah.
But all of this is now wasted paid social on me.
That's all right. Eventually, my content all just goes back to cats and birds. It's fine.
Yeah,
It rolls right back to that.
mine goes back to F1 dogs and deer.
Nice, Ron. That's good.
Right. I have that somewhere. Wait.
Nice, Ron.
Nice, Ron. What? I sneeze. I can't sneeze.
The ultimate deer clip.
It is.
It's great.
Ron. Sounds like I would have kicked Ron in the shin, too. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about some Formula One news.
Let's do it.
Can we, because Mohammed Ben Sulayem is just a mouthful for me.
Okay.
And we call him Eddie everywhere.
Yeah.
But can we just shorten it to Sully?
Like the guy who flew the plane?
Well, no, that guy I liked.
Oh,
But-
well, I mean, it's not about but I just think that,
Yeah.
I mean, just like MBS is already somebody. So it's kind of hard to call him MBS,
Yeah.
right? Because
MBS, I know.
he's like junior. You're like MBS Junior, right? That's already a
Right.
person. And same thing with Sully. Like if you said, "Oh, I'm talking about Sully tonight on the podcast," people are already going to think of the airplane guy. They're not going to think of
True.
MBS. So
All right. So
I don't know.
Eddie
We could call him
everywhere.
Sully though. It's fine. We've got context. It'll work.
We do have context behind this, importantly. So apparently, Sully is moving to remove the FIA presidential term limits, and a vote is set for this June 26th. So watch your calendars closely. So what is all confirmed out of this? Well, BBC, I have some notes here, but the BBC and Motorsport sort of corroborate this. Fact is that Sully has proposed repealing Article 20.10 for all of you that just have dog-eared copies of the FIA rule book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have that repealed, and that statute, which limits the presidency to three 4-year terms, a maximum of 12 years. Now, if passed, Sully or any future president could stand for election indefinitely without any fixed ceiling or tenure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking, okay, that's interesting. So the vote is scheduled for FIA General Assembly on June 26th in Macau.
Okay.
And multiple reports that I've read indicate that Sully has sufficient support within the organization for it to pass.
Most of them are related to Bernie Ecclestone. Yes.
Yeah. And this proposal arrived remember, it was just less than 6 months ago. He got reelected unopposed on a very dodgy sort of situation that are still to be contested in French courts in February or something. I don't know, something like that. Quite a ways out. But this whole term limit thing, this was sort of ushered in for those of you that are FIA geeks out there. So this was sort of ushered in with Sully's predecessor, Jean Todt.
Right.
And Jean did it because he felt that having term limits for a global sport like this, motorsport, was the right thing to do. No more than 3 terms, and you move on because it is represented a global sport. And this is kind of in reaction, if you guys will remember, this is kind of in reaction to Max Mosley when there wasn't term. I think he was in for like 16 years, folks.
Right.
So Jean thought that was a little much, so he brought this in, and I tend to agree with him. But anyway, so not Sully. Sully's a nope. And that French court I mentioned, that that's heading for trial. They felt that it was more of a dispute that was a matter of trial court than it was like an emergency proceeding or anything.
Yeah.
And they pushed that. I want to say later this year. Don't quote me on. I can't remember now. And remember, Tim Mayer, you guys remember I interviewed Tim in the run-up to the election. And Tim, so they asked him about it. He told BBC the term limits are fundamental safeguard for good governance and essential to blocking the concentration of power in motorsport. Yeah. And I think he's right. So why does all of this matter, Grace? Well, you got Sully. He took office in 2021.
Right.
In 2025, he was reelected via a very suspect process. I think we can say that comfortably. Now, in his second term, he's proposing to remove the only sort of constitutional, FIA constitutional mechanism that would eventually require him to leave.
Right.
So I'm in. You can't get rid of me. And I've put pressure on all the little motoring clubs around the world. I've got support where ADAC, who represents, or AAA represents hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, but that's just one vote. And that's the same as the motoring club, let's say, of, I don't know, a couple hundred people in Zimbabwe or Madagascar or pick a country, a small country, it could be a smaller country in Asia, it could be Africa, it could be South America.
It's the Senate, not the House.
Yeah, right. So that's what's going on. I kind of feel like the angle that is kind of interesting to watch out of this is really Formula One management. An FIA president that has this sort of indefinite mandate changes the negotiation dynamics between the FIA and FOM. And if you don't maybe think that's true, I think you could go back and look at Max Mosley and all of that concentrated power he had within the FIA and how that changed the dynamic. Now, agreed, at the time, FOM was ran by his buddy Bernie, whereas I don't know that Stefano and Sully are besties.
Oh, they're like this.
Yeah, they're like this probably. So, but anyway, it may not be immediately visible, but I think it's structurally significant to consider what that might be. Now, I was trying to think of two sides of the coin, Grace. I was trying to, so, all right, what would an assumption to attack be? Well, removing the term limits is a power grab dressed as administrative tidying up of things. And, we're just tightening this up and we're acting more like the World Motorsport Council and other places that don't have term limits and blah, blah, blah. And that just may seem like tidying up. On the flip side of it, their actual argument is that world councils and the Senate already operate without term limits. I guess it's not entirely without logic if you favor consistency across governance, and especially with a technical, complicated organization that's overseeing significant technical regulation evolution, which Formula One is. And you could say, having that sort of, that consistency over rules and regulation sets and that kind of thing. But I kind of feel like the question is not whether the continuity has value. I think you and I would agree that continuity does have value.
Sure.
It's whether institutional safeguards should be removed to achieve it, right?
Right. I mean, but he's also not the only person in the organization.
Yes.
Right? Correct. I mean, you can have technical continuity and a different president. Yep. Because it's not an organization of one. You have people that are underneath you and your deputies or who are keeping these, that's where you would want your continuity planning, right? Is that, if Todd is the head of this company, you have Paul who runs the single seater part and Grace who's in charge of making sure that there are snacks and paper plates at all the retirement parties. And there are people underneath Paul and Grace so that when Paul and Grace leave, other people take that position irregardless of what Todd's doing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not an organization of one. So I'm not sure how much it does give you some continuity, but you're also not expecting it's a 12-year swing.
Yeah.
Right? Because assuming most people get elected more than once, you get 3 terms, that's 12 years. It's not an every year swing, which would be a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he can't get his agenda done in 12 years, then maybe he's miscast for the play.
What's your agenda then? Yeah.
Well, I know what his agenda is. It's concentrating power so he doesn't have to give up the job.
Why? I don't. Okay. I mean, maybe if I wanted the job, maybe that would be different. Maybe I could see that argument. But I'm like, well, it seems like I It seems like a terrible job, but okay, cool.
Well, I mean, and their argument is like, well, we're doing that because, that the world councils and Senate already operate with a term. Okay, fair enough. But that's not really an argument. I would like Sully to specifically say why he thinks term limits should go away and what he would plan to do.
I want the power.
Yeah. Concentrating the power.
I
Everything he's done since he's got in here has just been, I don't know, suspect?
Because it's the easiest way for me to touch Lando Norris's hair.
Exactly. And it's a decent salary, and I get to be a big boy. And,
I get to hand out the big trophy.
Yeah, and I get the world stage, and
I guess.
So,
okay.
So, Section Grace, if the June 26 votes passes as expected, what recourse exists for critics inside and outside the FIA? Does the legal challenge in France become more significant once term limits are formally removed?
Well, I mean, you'd want to get your term limits in before that happened, right? So, because then it's going to be harder. It doesn't matter, right? You kind of, your ruling now usurps that, right? Like, do what you want, courts. It's too late. Like, that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what the court would ultimately decide because he just, he was unattested because of a very dodgy process.
They could just change the system that gets people
they
elected.
Change
but,
the system, yeah.
Whatever.
The court could say, nah, that's not good enough. I don't know that they would come in and say, okay, well, that makes the last election invalid. You got to stand up a brand new election for 27 and do it again.
I like that, though.
I do
like
too.
The Drive to Survive version of Formula One loves that storyline.
Yes. Yeah. Say, oh, no. That wasn't a legitimate election. You got to do it again.
Yeah.
The thing that was eye-opening was, I know I keep saying this, and I apologize, but reading the autobiography of Max Mosley was pretty eye-opening about how the FIA works and the politics behind it,
right?
And how consolidating these little motoring clubs, because it's one club, one vote, irrespective of how many people those clubs represent,
right?
And so it's one club, one vote. And as long as you send some money to these little clubs, you're basically buying those votes and pressuring them for the vote and all that. And, you can have a majority pretty quick just based on that. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm just saying reading in Max's, it was pretty obvious that you could really game that system.
Right.
So if, I don't know what happened. And I don't know if this changes the relationship between F1 teams, the FIA, FOM. I don't know. Are the teams who operate under FIA governance, but they basically fund the commercial enterprise that makes them relevant? Are they concerned about it? I didn't see a whole lot from the teams. And I wouldn't expect to. I wouldn't expect the teams to come out and have a full-throated yay or nay against this.
They're also busy.
They are busy, yes. Because this weekend is Monaco.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not on its usual week, which is kind of weird for me, but
Yeah, I know.
I only had the 7 hours of the Indy 500 to watch.
Yeah,
instead
and
of
a full month previous to it, yes.
I don't know why.
Boy, they make a meal out of that race, don't they?
They sure do. I mean, any series that sells Carburetor Day, even though we haven't had carburetors in like 60 years, whatever, sure, it's fine.
Yeah, it's Carb Day. It's
It's pasta. It's pasta day, right? Like, what do you think of this carb
today
day?
is air pressure day. We have air pressure tests.
But yeah, they do. And I mean, it is the race that people know, so that's fine.
They should. Yeah,
but, and it was good. But yeah, I always think that, it's a long race.
It is. I was also wondering, Grace, do you think there's anyone inside the FIA with sufficient enough standing to make a case of restraint publicly before the June? Could you see someone else in the FIA with the intestinal fortitude to come out and say, you know what, we need term limits. This is silly. I guess not. He's probably canned everybody that wasn't in his boat, you know.
I want to say, like, I really want it to be like Toto Wolff, because how else will he be president? I need you to have a term limit, because how else can I get this job?
How can Toto get in there?
How can I get this job if you're there forever? You know.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I want Flavio Briatore to be the person that's like, no, this is a dumb idea. Not because he has any stakes in the game, but just because it's always more fun when Flavio's involved.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Like, right. Like, it'll just be more fun if they're like, well, do you want this job? I don't want this job. I don't even want the job I currently have.
Right.
I don't want that job, but I don't think he should have it either.
We should start a rumor that Christian Horner is going to run for it.
You know what? He is the short list to be the second driver at Ferrari.
He's like the short list of everything. I always see these headlines. Oh, Christian got new. Oh, he's running this or that or BYD or I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much speculation about what's going on.
I did love the BYD. That is a
I saw
kiss rumor. Love it.
I saw this one. I don't remember. It was some thing that popped up in a social feed of mine, and I mean, just no disrespect to them or whatever group that was posting the headline and the story and all that. I don't. I just found it humorous that they had a picture of Christian and his wife, and then they had a picture of her back in the Spice Girls days wearing the dress, the Union Jack dress, you know,
right.
The flag. And their tie-in was they had this connecting the dots. Who knows? But it was like, okay, well, that dress that she wore was supposed to be a variation of a Gucci dress that they modified for her. Therefore, the tie-in with the Gucci dress, and it's Gucci taking the prime spot for Alpine as their title sponsor over the water company or whatever that was. And this is BYD. And then they had they connected a lot of dots there, all back to Ginger Spice and her reportedly Gucci Union Jack dress. I thought we've reached peak speculation.
Why? Okay, so always it's like the most obvious thing sometimes is true. Like, this was a pretty straightforward, like, fashion. Flavio Briatore, the team he's in charge of. To me, it made sense, right? Like, that's where Flavio comes from. That's where he lives. So it makes sense that for him, like, Gucci, we'll bring Gucci in, and they would feel at home at Alpine. Of course. And we'd get rid of BWT or, isn't that the water?
BWT, yeah.
And, you know, right. I was like, there's no story here. So way to go. Way to like connect all the Charlie Day, you know, strings to make a bigger story where like, no, this totally just was like fashion guy brings in fashion house into Formula One, which is already like always in that orbit anyway.
Right. And if you're newer to F1 and you haven't gone down the rabbit trail of Flavio, he ran Benetton.
Yeah, I mean that's. That's
early 90s, whatever.
What I think it's Steve Matchett's first book, right? He really talks about how, because he worked for Flavio, right? He really talked about how Flavio was the first of the like not race car drivers to run a team, and that he really ran it.
Marketing guys.
Right. That he really ran it like a business as opposed to, you know, like Ron Dennis who used to race, or, you know, like you have these sort of like. They used to rate. It's like coaches, right? Like you used to be a ball player, so now you're a coach of a basketball team, right?
Yeah.
He was really the first guy that came in and was sort of like, no, this is not how you run a business. Because Steve Matchett talks about how like you used to always worry as a mechanic because you'd always try to work on your stuff using the team's equipment. But like if Ron was coming through, you had to hide it because Ron knew that wasn't on his car, that was on your car, and that you cannot be working on your car with my dime. Flavio didn't know, right? You could have been working on anything in there, and Flavio's like, I have no idea. He's not a car guy. So I think that it made a real change sort of in the way Formula One operates to where we are today. So
I agree.
Always check out. Flavio's always, there's nothing about Flavio that's not interesting. So
No. Especially the Mankini.
All right, we didn't need to go there, but please, I hope none of you have to see that. I apologize in advance.
Don't look up Flavio Briatore Mankini.
Why would you? You don't need to see that. Nobody does.
You don't need to see that. Yeah, not good. All right, segment 2. Shall we turn the page? Let's do.
Sure. I will say that there was a Drive to Survive where Carlos Sainz is talking to Heidi Klum at Monaco. They're doing a fashion shoot together. And I'm impressed that Carlos Sainz did not ask him what it's like to co-parent with Flavio Briatore, because that's the question I would have asked Heidi Klum.
That would be a great question.
I don't have the chutzpah to ask her that question, but I was like, Carlos just was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. You're lovely. Oh, and she's like, oh, you're lovely, right? Like, I would have been like, so, co-parenting with Flavio, what is that like?
Yeah, what's that like? That would have been good.
That would have been great. Again, the Drive to Survive world of Formula One. That is not the actual world, thank God. But right? That would have been great. That would have been very, very spicy.
That would have been very spicy. I agree.
All right, now I'm ready for segment 2. I'm ready.
Segment 2. All right, here we go. Monaco strips the 2026 rulebook bare. That's the headline that I wrote. So we got a couple things happening in Monaco. We have the compression ratio ban.
All right. And
we have straight mode blackout. And you may say, well, what? What are we doing? Well, there's two separate things going on. And they all land, these two separate things all land at Monaco simultaneously. So from June 1st, the FIA checks compression ratios at both cold and operating temperatures like 130 degrees C.
We see you, Mercedes.
Yes. And the intent is to close the loophole that rivals believe that gave Mercedes like a 20 to 30 extra horsepower, because they say that Mercedes was believed to be exploiting the, call it thermally expanding material that they use to make the you need the Heimlich?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
If you can say you need the Heimlich, you do not need the Heimlich, but we're good.
There you go. All right. And the compression ratio is 16-1. So as many of you know, the innuendo was that Mercedes was using material that expanded under thermal load, and it was keeping their compression ratio much higher than that, like 18-1. And they reckon that was 20, 30, 40 horsepower more. So that's the point. Now, the other regulation I wanted to mention is that for the whole weekend in Monaco, there's no straight mode activation. No activation zones for straight mode anywhere on the circuit. It's the first time active aero disappears entirely in 2026. And you recall, active aero is when the front and rear wings open. It replaces DRS. All right? Not going to happen in Monaco.
I think we should have it coming out of the tunnel into the chicane. That's
into the chicane.
Let's do that. That sounds good.
Perfect.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, so the compression ratio is one thing. Although Fred Vasseur says, I don't think the compression ratio thing is a game changer. I don't think, whatever.
I love Fred.
And keep in mind, when they all voted to make this change, that Mercedes voted for it. So, kind of like, either that means that they weren't doing it, or it's the mother of all political moves, and they fixed it. But anyway, who knows? On the straights, no section of Monaco meets the 3-second minimum required for the straight mode zone.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, so safety at the tunnel exit was the deciding factor, and limited runoff. Unacceptable speeds under degraded tires. Overtake mode, though, that stays. So your effective has a little bit of a push to pass. Okay. So you go to Raskas and you get down the front, and you're gone.
Yeah.
I hope that lasts long enough that I can actually get around somebody.
Raskas is definitely where I'm going to use my push to pass. That's great.
I'm going to late brake and hit that push to pass coming out of Raskas. That's what I'm doing, man. So overtake mode stays. Okay. That activation is at the final quarter, Raskas, actually.
Yeah.
So Monaco, look, it's the least power sensitive circuit. We know that. I don't think either change is likely to show true competitive impact until we get to Spain, and that includes the compression issue for Mercedes.
I mean, Monaco, nothing happens at Monaco.
Not really. No.
It's such an outlier. It's such its own thing.
Yeah. I thought the funny tie-in, as I was typing this, I said, oh, okay, so we got the regulations and then somebody doesn't like the regulations or somebody's doing something with the regulations. I thought, well, there's a tie-in here with the Sully story. In both cases, rules were technically compiled while the spirit was arguably subverted. That's the innuendo. And in both cases, the institutional response was to change the rules rather than enforce the intent. And it's very in much keeping with Sully. So, oh, wait, term limit? Nah, we just changed the rules. Yeah.
You know what? This is a great parenting strategy.
It is.
I'm not going to enforce anything. I'm just going to keep changing the rules. You're going to raise great children.
Keep moving those goalposts, you know?
They'll be fine.
Yeah. You know, both of these interventions, they do kind of target Mercedes in a way. The straight line performance and the compression. If you think about it, the compression ratio change really removes whatever suspected power advantage that other teams felt that they had. And the straight mode removal takes away the drag reduction that magnifies that power. Right? So I think in aggregate, if Mercedes has a compression advantage and there's no open arrow, then I think both of these things would impact Mercedes the most if you believe that they didn't correct that system or if they weren't doing it to begin with. Who knows?
I'm sure they corrected the system. That to me is my favorite story because I like the idea that they were doing it.
Yeah.
It's no fun if they just weren't doing it.
I suspect they stay in front because, quite honestly, I think the chassis and entire combination and software and everything is just genuinely strong.
Yeah. They don't need it anymore.
Yeah, but the move matters beyond Monaco. Yeah. We'll see in Spain, I think.
That's right. Everything happens in Spain.
I also think it's rich that the straight mode was sold to fans as the smarter replacement for DRS.
Whatever.
Its most prominent absence is now at the sport's most glamorous race. What timing. And between that and the compression change, we're effectively slowing the cars further down on a circuit where overtaking is already not the expectation, right? We don't expect that. And okay.
In addition to the other tracks where we expect it, I mean, I don't know. It's Formula One. Do we really expect that much passing? No, that's always the argument. So, yeah, and then you go to Monaco where it's like, so passing.
Yeah. And you may say, hey, look, all right, both these interventions, guys, is going to finally level the playing field. I don't think it's quite that easy. I think Mercedes' dominance is really chassis integration with the maturity of their software and their development and how they map those engines. I think it's there. It's not just the power unit shove, I don't think. I think you know, they had Red Bull and Ferrari close to them in Canada, and they didn't need this regulation change to be competitive with them and close. So I don't think that's the case. The overtake mode remains. The 2026 cars are smaller, lighter than last year's. You know, there's genuine variables to play. But let's face it, I think we're in for another typical Monaco, would be my hunch. I hope it's not crazy.
Yeah, you know, you just hope that nobody bins it and takes on half the field.
Yeah, I just it's sort of antithetical in the sense that they go into this weekend saying, well, I mean, seriously, this is the narrative of most of the stories I read on this. They're all like, well, we can't do the overtake mode with the wings and stuff here. I mean, these cars are just too fast.
You just can't do it.
You know, the fact is that Monaco's dangerous, and we really need to slow these cars down significantly around Monaco because it's just, I'm thinking, okay, but these cars are slower than last year's cars.
Yes, right.
What are we talking about?
What
do you mean? Why are we, they're already starting to hit the brakes before the driver does going down a straight.
What does it mean, Basil? I don't know.
Yeah.
What does it all mean, Basil?
I don't know. Yeah, we're talking about all of a sudden we're all these years of racing in Monaco, and this year we're just absolutely beside ourselves, teeth gnashing over the speed of the cars in Monaco and safety.
No, I mean
this is the same reason they switched from sound to noise. It's just patronizing, and it makes me mad.
move away from Monaco, right? If it was such a problem, we should not be at Monaco. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Let's not get
but-
crazy.
Yeah, slow your roll there,
Let's not get
Grace. This
crazy.
is the crown jewel of Formula One.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's safe enough, but
Yeah.
not safe. Okay.
It was safe for DRS, but not for the overtake. Yeah,
I
no,
don't
it's
know.
way too fast. And, coming out of that tunnel, there's a chicane there. Yeah, I know. It's been there for
there.
decades. It's been there forever.
Yeah.
And the cars were fast. They were faster last year. Nobody was wringing their hands nervously about how fast these cars were last year or, 2013, 2014, 2017. I don't know. Don't get me started.
Don't be using your logic. Take your logic back to your cubicle. We ain't got time for this here.
Yeah. All right, Grace. So if Mercedes wins anyways, does the paddock move on or does it keep looking for the next lever to pull against Mercedes to slow them down?
Oh, it looks for the next lever to pull against
course.
Mercedes. Of course, right? Like, that's how it works. I mean,
Yeah.
and fair enough, you're not doing your job, right? Like, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
some other team,
Yeah, yeah.
you're just like, well, I guess Mercedes is going to win it this year. And we're at like race 7 in Catalunya. Like, yeah, you're not
Right.
really doing your job. You got 27 more races to go,
I agree.
32 more races to go. You can't give up now. So, yes, you always have to be working against the other team.
Yeah.
So they won't.
So if the race is processional, will the FIA face pressure for sort of track by track straight mode exemptions that gradually hollow out one of the 2026 Formula One flagship features?
Have people never watched this sport? Dear people, you are listening to the show, so I'm going to assume you've watched at least one season of Formula One. It's Monaco. This is how it goes. We are here not because it is the best racing. I firmly believe if this track existed anywhere else in the world, we would have stopped racing it a while ago. But we don't because it's Monaco. We're not leaving Monaco. We're not going to go to Miami for Monaco. Monaco's Monaco. Maybe Vegas, but we're staying with Monaco, right? Calm down, people. Everything doesn't have to be like outrage. It's just watch it, enjoy it. It'll be nice. Hopefully nobody nobody bends it into the wall and like Sergio Perez, like, and 700 cars run into him, and that's half the field, right? Like, we're just hoping for not that.
Right. That's so true. I don't know. Do you think the push to pass on its own is going to generate anything worth watching in that final? I feel like
No.
the final sector coming out of the tunnel into the chicane, the place they're all worried about, that's where they're going to be hitting the push to pass for more speed. And then I feel like maybe down the front into Santa Vote and then up the hill, maybe a little, I don't know. Up the hill is pretty tough because it's got that left-hand kink, and that's
Yes.
where Sergio balled it
Yes.
up in the wall there.
I'm also going to put this out there.
It's also close to where Mark Webber lost that $250,000 diamond.
I remember that in the Jaguar.
Right.
Old school. I was just going to say, you know what? The other thing too, these are professionals. It's not you and me out there on the track. I think they can
Right.
handle it.
They can handle it.
They got it.
Hey, you remember the diamond thing?
I do.
If you found that episode when Grace and I talked about that on that episode, we talked about it and I want to say the week before, and I think we even talked about who would put a $250,000 diamond on a
thinking?
car. What are they thinking? Because
In
if
the
it
nose
crashes
of
or
all
something,
places, right.
They're going to lose that diamond, and lo and behold, that's
Gone.
exactly what happened. And Grace and I, the next time, was like, told you that was going to happen.
You know, there was an episode of the race where somebody, a fan wrote in a question, was like, Ed Straw, do you ever listen to your old podcasts? And he said, I don't, except sometimes I use them as my own encyclopedia. Yeah, sometimes it is helpful to go back because I'm like, I feel like we've talked about this
We
before.
did talk about it.
And there
Yeah.
it is. So
I know.
sometimes I now have enough catalog of my own podcasts that, they serve as my own almanac to what we talked about
Right.
before.
Yeah. Well, after 1,000 episodes and
I
don't know,
hope
70
Charlie's working up some
70 or so
celebrations.
downshift interview episodes and
I don't know.
all that. I mean,
got a lot.
we got a decent catalog to reference. So anyway, all right, let's turn the page on this thing. Segment 3, the 2027 power unit. That vote, folks, it's fracturing. It's fracturing. If you're at home, you're worried. Ferrari, Audi, Honda, Cadillac. They're the reason why it's fracturing, folks.
I'd also like to point out that it's like Ferrari, Audi, Honda, Cadillac.
Yeah. Ferrari. Oh, you cannot say that it's Ferrari. Wait. I have something.
This is Enzo Ferrari.
That's Enzo Ferrari.
That's right. So
Do
right.
not
So
get me started on the Luce. I know you're going to ask me about it. Don't even go down there.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring up the fact that
it looks like a Nissan Leaf, and I'm totally there. Me and Luca de Montezemolo, we're like this, Luca and I.
Yeah.
I'm right there with him. Don't get me started. Don't even get me started.
I love that somebody took, because we often talk about how terrible the internet is. Often the internet is an amazing place because somebody, of course, took that like iconic picture of Lewis Hamilton standing in front of Enzo's office building, and they put the Luce behind. Exactly.
It's so good. And I love the unboxing videos with Lewis and Charles, and they had to like sound like they liked it, and you could tell they were like the things they were saying is like, oh yeah, I like the buttons.
Look at although as a Tesla owner, I always joke about how much I hate the fact that there are no buttons in the Tesla, and there are times that I'm like, I'm cold, so I'm trying to adjust the climate control, and Flip is like, I don't know where we're going, right? Because now you completely blocked the navigation,
right?
And so anytime a car is like, look, we have this giant screen and buttons and knobs, I was all over the like, oh look, it's an electric car with buttons and knobs. What a novel idea.
Oh, it was so good.
I know. It was although it was some great Charles Leclerc reaction, because I always love that when Charles is driving, LH just sits there like, yep, this is fine. And Charles is like, oh my God, right? That's so, I'm sure they both drive crazy.
He's
and
like
none of them are going to be impressive. Yeah.
Oh,
Pops. So that I enjoyed that video.
You can't win the race.
I enjoyed that video for none of the reasons I was supposed to enjoy that video for. I was only enjoying it for those reasons.
That's exactly. I was enjoying it for all the reasons they didn't want me to enjoy it.
Exactly. So I could just see it if we were in a focus group and they'd be like, so what do you think of the video? Oh, 10 out of 10. What do you think about this? Oh, that was total BS. But did you see how funny Charles Leclerc is when Lewis is driving around the track? Like, that's not what you're supposed to notice. Yeah.
So good.
It was great.
Sorry, I should have put that in Albin's Cats, but that was funny.
So I wasn't. MotoGP bumped the Luce, but it is the Leaf. It's great. Good job, Ferrari.
So here we go. The FIA and FOM want to shift the 20, as you guys know. Right. They want to shift the power to 60-40 split instead of 50-50 next year. And the aim is really kind of pretty straightforward. It's to reduce all the lift and coast and energy harvesting behavior that has drawn a lot of, criticism from drivers. Right.
I did yell that a lot through the video too. Charge the pack.
Charge the pack. Charge it. But getting there is turning out to be a little politically messy, if I'm honest. Any change needs 4 of the 6 manufacturers to vote under the Power Unit Advisory Committee, or the PUAC, the PUAC. I'm not part of the PUAC.
Me neither. I think
Wish I was.
I don't know. I mean, this is similar to the MotoGP race was in Italy. It was in Mugello. Yeah. And I think that, often they've played the game like, is this a turn or a pasta? I think it should also be like, is this a turn at Mugello or something that Marc Marquez has had surgery on? We're not sure.
Right. It's so true. The Power Unit Advisory Committee with Mercedes, Red Bull, Ford, Ferrari, Audi, Honda, Cadillac, they're all part of that group, right?
Right.
Well, Mercedes and Red Bull support the move. They say bring it. Yeah. And why wouldn't they? Mercedes got 30 more horsepower, apparently.
Yeah.
So why not? But Audi and Ferrari want to delay it until 2028. Honda is also understood to favor the delay, and Cadillac's position, while it remains a little unclear, but you would imagine, because they're using Ferraris, that they're going to toe the Ferrari line.
I mean, I'm just conjecture. Just maybe that's what's going to happen.
It's and The other thing about that is it's interesting that that Cadillac's involved because they're using Ferrari engines. They don't make their own yet. They're working on their own, but they don't make their own.
Not yet.
So why not have Haas involved? Because they're using Ferraris. Anyway, I get the point. It's a subtlety. I'm being purposely obtuse. Okay, so
that's the other tagline for the show. Purposely
obtuse. That's it.
Occasionally insightful, always entertaining.
Purposely obtuse.
Obtuse. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. So that's the problem. As you can see, Red Bull and Mercedes ready to go. Okay. So FIA single seater, you know him, you love him, Nicholas Tambazzi.
I love that guy.
Yeah, who doesn't love him?
What a title.
Love Nicholas.
Title for life.
It is a title. Yeah. There's no term limits for him.
No, that's right. Why? Because he's not the president. He's under the president. So he doesn't have a term limit. That's how
he serves at Sully's pleasure.
Yes, at the pleasure of the president.
Yes. So he spent it was reported that he spent the Canadian weekend trying to broker common ground between the teams. The emergent compromise, get ready for this, folks. The emergent compromise would allow moderate fuel flow increases in 2027 while pushing the full 60-40 concept back to 2028, which means that the resistance centers on cost, chassis carryover. But get this, we're not done with acronyms yet. The issues of higher fuel requirements in the size of the fuel tanks and the current chassis, yada, 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 concern that removing, you guys remember us talking about the ADUO, the program that allows engines that are below the leading engines a catch-up stage in token spend, right? So imagine this. You've got ADUO tokens coming. Mm-hmm. And the PUAC is wanting you to vote to change, and you're thinking, well, whoa, let's delay it so I get the ADUO tokens to spend, and I can get my engine tweaked to the max before we then decide that we want to change the regulations, do a 60-40 split. Because if you allow me that ADUO, I'm going to focus on that performance, knowing that next year it's going to be 60-40. I'm going to do it how I want it next year, right?
Right.
So you not only have the PUAC involved, but you have the ADUO catch-up mechanism involved. And the manufacturers, they're all about that. Honda in particular needs those ADUO resources to stabilize the trouble that they're having this year in their engine program.
There's a lot of acronyms in the story, and I work for the federal government.
I know. You guys are the inventors of acronyms.
What's going on here?
So Stefano Domenicali, head of FOM, yes. Meanwhile, he's fully behind the change, telling L'Equipe he supports it 1,000%, which isn't a thing, Stefano, and linking it to F1's longer-term push for lighter cars and a possible V8 future, which is interesting. So why does it matter?
On the V8 future? That's still a thing? All right. Okay.
Who knows? I don't know if we could ever just get rid of term limits so Sully could see that through and make sure we get to V8s, because Sully wants what's best for us.
That would be the only reason that I would get rid of term limits, is for him to have to pay that check. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you're here now? Okay.
Okay, V8s next year.
We'd like to see that happen in 2030. Go.
Make it happen. So context, the ADUO angle, that's, like I said, it's an important one. Ferrari's resistance to the 60-40, it's a timing, but not purely a timing thing, I think, in my opinion. It's about what happens to the ADUO compensation mechanism that allows these teams to upgrade their engines. I think Ferrari's waiting on that. I think somebody told me that Red Bull was possibly eligible, but we know Honda is, and that kind of thing. So the manufacturers with the weaker power units, they want to receive that additional development tokens to close the gap. A regulation reset in 27 could restructure that whole performance landscape in a way that makes those tokens maybe less valuable or irrelevant, right? And you wouldn't want that. You would want those tokens and spend those first, then let's look at that. But being that the ADUO tokens are later this season and the development's in full swing and they're spending money on it. You could see them resource this out on a timeline and put this on a Gantt chart and say, really for us, the optimum time be 2028 and roll with it there. I don't know, but Carlos said in Canada, the sport can't wait till 2028. Liam Lawson said that F1 is losing its soul if the drivers stop and enjoying the cars. And Helmut Marko admitted publicly he doesn't watch practice sessions at all anymore. I still think that FOM has a serious commercial signal from these people and from the drivers and everyone and fans.
Yeah.
I think it's a serious commercial signal from everyone to Liberty Media that I don't know that waiting to 2028 is going to be a very good idea, period. For even just fans, I think they're going to get really frustrated.
No, or they at least have to be pretending like that's not their end goal, right?
Yeah.
At least make it look like if that's where we end up, that's by happenstance. Even if you're just pretending, right? But you can't set that out there as like, we know this is a mess, but we're going to wait 2 years before we fix it. Yeah, that's not going to fly.
And on one side, I think, okay, so I'm not happy with this formula at all. Matter of fact, I'm really struggling to get excited about it, which I've been following since I was a little boy, like 6 years old. And this is the first year I can remember being just kind of deflated about it. And that's pretty sad. I've seen a lot of changes over the decades, literally, that I've been watching Formula One. And it's pretty sad. So not happy. So on one side of the coin, I would say the assumption is that the 60-40 split will fix Formula One. But if I'm honest, it probably doesn't. The cars will still be hybrids with major electrical deployment.
Yes.
So energy management will remain part of the racing. A 60-40 split may reduce the lift and coast problem, but it's not going to erase it, especially if the final compromise waters down the ratio or phases in over 2 seasons or something like that. I mean, that could leave drivers like Max, who's really frustrated, other drivers like Liam and others, Carlos. I mean, the FIA gets a regulatory win if they do it, but it doesn't really solve the on-track product, if that makes sense, Grace.
100%. I mean, that's really all we care about.
Right. And we talked about that a couple podcasts ago, and I think you mentioned that. Look, if it doesn't solve the on-track product, it doesn't really matter what all happens in the background. Right.
That's right.
So, Grace, if Cadillac votes with Ferrari because of its power unit customer relationship, the 60-40 change fails for 2027. Does FOM have a credible plan B? Or does the sport just wait until 2028 and hope the grid holds together in the meantime?
I'd love to believe it's the first, but we all know it's the latter. What plan B?
What plan B?
As somebody who's been watching this sport since you were a boy, what do you think it is? It's surely not they have a plan B.
It's no plan B. They'll stomach it out until 2028 and just hope to God that they don't lose a bunch of fans and stuff next year.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly what
There's
they'll
no
do.
plan B.
Yeah. And so Ferrari say they support more combustion power in principle, but not the timeline. Is that a genuine technical position, or do you think it's a negotiating tactic, like I'm assuming, to get their concessions on the ADUO development?
Yeah, it's concessions.
Yeah. All right. I
mean that makes logical sense, right?
Yeah,
I think that
would.
if I get those tokens, I get to improve my ride. So why would I get rid of them? Right? Like, I got
And you don't want them to be watered down either.
No, because I've planned for that. I have planned for those tokens and how I'm going to spend. It's not luck. Nothing is luck. It's planned. It's right. It's in somebody's Gantt chart, right? We're not ready to renegotiate that. I have plans for them.
Totally. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's what we think about that. Shall we do some Albans, Cats?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Seriously, Todd. Stop yelling at Todd.
Walk faster, Todd.
Yes. Seriously.
Get down.
Oh, boy. Hey, if I can find this, I don't think I can in time. I'm sorry. I should have thought this through on my soundboard. Silly me. I used to have it here, and I don't have it anymore. That's a shame. Oh, well. Sorry about that.
All right.
I wanted to play that for a listener. Okay. Albin's Cats. Grace, hit us with some Albin's Cats.
We'll be back. You can play it then. Okay, so my first Albon's Cats is, I don't know if you heard the news about Ross Brawn's new future plans. Have you heard this? Well, Ross Brawn, because this is what everybody's doing now, because after 700 years of me saying it, people are finally starting to listen. Ross Brawn is going to be joining the board of directors at Pramac Racing and MotoGP. That's
way.
right, because that's what you should all be doing. Yes. So he's going to be.
Read that.
Yeah, he's going to be.
Awesome.
And I checked. It is both on Formula One site and MotoGP site. So I'm going to go with that's credible. This isn't, because you see those things now and I'm who knows, right? No, legitimately, Ross Brawn is going to, it's a non-executive role and it's very Helmut Marko sounding, right? Like that he's just going to go to Pramac Racing in MotoGP.
Wow.
I loved it. He's buddies with their team principal. Yeah, he's buddies with their team principal, and so he's going to give it a try.
So you got the Steiner over there.
Yes, that's right.
You've got now Ross dipping his toe into the lukewarm waters of MotoGP.
Yeah.
It's only logical, Grace. Christian Horner's taking over.
I know. I was waiting for that.
It's going to happen. BYD, somebody going to take over a MotoGP team. I think that would be hilarious.
Yes, I love that. There's some part of me that would love him at main Ducati just because that seems to be like the most fun.
Yeah.
Terrible. It would be terrible for Ducati, but it would be the most entertaining for me.
Oh, it'd be great.
So Ross Brawn's heading to MotoGP. See, people? It's not just me. Ross Brawn also thinks you should be watching.
Wow.
So,
you know what Ross Brawn always says.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
That's right. Not Ross Brawn. I always love though that it's much like when Adrian Newey was at McLaren and he was like, it was always this like veiled threat of like, I'm leaving to go design boats.
Yes.
Ross Brawn was always like, I'm going to go fishing.
Fly fishing.
I guess fly fishing wasn't doing it for you and now you're going to go to MotoGP. I don't know.
Yeah. He's out there he's out there on a little oxbow of a river and it's just out there. He misses all the excitement.
Or this is a way to get somebody to pay for your fishing trips.
That's exactly what it is.
He realized that all the best fishing happens at the places that MotoGP.
Who needs a 401k when you got Pramac?
That's right. He'll just tell them some things that'll be fine.
Yeah.
So that's pretty hot off the presses this week. And of course, speaking of MotoGP, much like Canada, which as a McLaren fan, I'd rather not talk about, but it was a great race. McLarening. Like, if anybody's like...
Jesus.
Yep.
If anybody's like, what was McLaren like back in the day? That's what they were like. Because that's still what they're like. McLaren,
back in the day?
Nice, Ron.
Yeah.
Their own worst enemy. McLaren.
You've said this for 20 years now.
Yeah.
You said McLaren, your team, just never fails to shoot themselves in their own foot.
Own worst enemy. So I bought all the Lando merch because who knows when I'll get this opportunity again.
Ah.
Gonna buy.
I have, everybody gives me a bunch of crap for always wearing all these racing polos, right?
Yeah.
So this one's France and, I have Munich and I have all these racing polos. But I do have a black polo, number 4 on the back that says McLaren across the top. It's a Lando polo.
There you go. See? Wear that for the show. Would match. It would be nice.
Yeah. Right.
Although I'm not. I'm supporting Alex Albon tonight, so it's fine.
Ah, okay.
All right. Anyway, so we're keeping it thematic. So we're gonna go. MotoGP was racing in Mugello. Great race. So if you're like, what is this MotoGP about? This was a great race for people to be watching.
It's more F1 than F1, isn't it, these days?
Yeah. So I would highly recommend go watch Mugello. I think they release the races on YouTube after a certain amount of time, so you can go watch it. You can go watch the highlights. Check it out. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, good race.
So the sprint race, right? So I found that the podium was a bit of a surprise because it's Ralph Fernandez and Jorge Martin. Not a surprise. Did you?
Bez made a mistake.
Yeah, but crazy kind of race. And then we're watching the podium. So they do, just like they do in Formula One when there's a sprint race, except MotoGP has a sprint race every weekend. So they give them medals, right? And so, usually it's like some dignitaries that pass out the medals. It's, the head of, like the AAA Motor Club or, it's the head of the FIM or whatever. It's usually some like local or automobile club or motorcycle club related, person that I don't know who they are. And I'm just, casually watching and, we're eating breakfast. I'm chatting. And I'm like, is that Simon Le Bon? It was Simon Le Bon. Just randomly passing out medals at the sprint race.
Whoa.
Never saw him again. I don't know why he was there. I mean, if I was Simon
like the wolf.
So if I was Simon Le Bon, that's what I would be doing too. But it was very random. That I was
He's
like, wow,
a wild boy.
That guy really looks like Simon Le Bon. Because it was. Now,
who is his chauffeur? Oh. I'm saying, I know.
Yeah, it was
terrible
good.
Duran.
No, these are all great. But because then it leads into the joke, because Digi Antonio's logo is a wolf, right? Like it's like a triangle shaped wolf. And so it was like, how long until and of course, Matt Beer, without missing a beat, makes the hungry like a wolf joke. Like, so then it clearly was.
See? And both of those writers have incredible reflex.
Yeah, right. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, this could go. Now I've gone to Girls on Film, and I don't know that we should go there, but I feel like there's a lot of great Duran Duran jokes we can make here.
There are.
But it was
is there something I should know?
I don't know. In this ordinary world, we can do it all.
Yes, it's terrible. I know.
But anyway, it caught me as very random. I thought maybe he was the flag waver. He was not. He was just there, passed out medals.
That's funny. Passing out medals. That's good.
Cool.
Well, you know who was the flag waver who was not in Monaco?
No. So our friend, Kimi Antonelli. So I love that. So the race was great, right? Bez, spoiler alert, right? Bez wins. And it's great fanfare, right? Because Aprilia is great.
You see Kimi give Bez a great big hug.
I mean, it was so much great. Love, and it's Italian rider at Mugello. I mean, it's kind of like Silverstone, right? Like it has that same sort of like you're an Italian rider. You used to go to this track as a kid, and you won here, and you're on an Italian bike, and Bez was just really beside himself, and Pecco was really just like, yeah, man, this is great, and so it was sort of a great storyline, and then. There you have Kimi Antonelli's there because Kimi Antonelli apparently is big friends with Marco Bezzecchi. And so I love that you have Kimi Antonelli, who's now leading Formula One's, World Championship. You have Bez leading the MotoGP Championship.
Did you hear the interview they did with Kimi before the race started? And they're like, hey, how do you feel about Italians doing so well? You got Bez on pole position. He's, Bez a friend. And the Italians, we're just keeping it up. We got great Italians on this grid. And I'm in Formula One. And then, we just got to keep going. The Italians in the Winter Olympics did incredible. And I was like, what? I can't even remember the Winter Olympics. And you remember what the Italians did? That's awesome.
That's so long ago. Because they were doing well in tennis. Because that also, so Jack Appleyard, who does the post-race, he's kind of like the Tom in Formula One, right? Like, so Jack always does the interviews. And he mentioned, he's like, oh, yeah, and it's been a great time for the Italians. And I'm thinking, unless you're Ducati and unless you're Ferrari. But yes, all the other Italians are doing great right now. Thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah.
But, so it was great that, Kimi Antonelli was there and, it
was great.
He was everywhere and they showed him a lot. So.
And you could tell he was a big fan. He gave Pecco a big hug and Bez and all the Italian riders. And you could tell that they talk and he's such a big fan. You can tell he loved the sport.
I loved it. It was great. And that's the crossover we're all here for.
Yes,
and,
it
was. So I think that, I did, however, what's great, so Pecco and Bez are friends, right, because they both race for Valentino Rossi's, at his ranch. They're good friends. So they're going to be in Aprilia next year. And then the other big move that we're all looking forward to is Marc Marquez is staying at Ducati, but Acosta's coming over. Pedro Acosta's coming over. So the two of them had this epic battle through the whole thing. Not that we got to see it. Thanks a lot, race director. So first I'm yelling at the TV, right, because I get it. You always want to show when you think there's about to be a pass on the for the lead, right? But again, I've been watching the sport long enough. eventually the Aprilia is going to pass the Ducati. It's only a matter of time. You don't need to show me this. You can put it in the little picture in the picture over here in the corner. It's because it's inevitable. Pecco does not have enough grip to maintain this pace. He's going to pass them. You don't need to show me that, especially when the battle for 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is epic. And you're watching Marc Marquez move, and you're watching, and you're like, well, it would be great if I could see that, not just watching it on the, on live timing and scoring as they move around over here.
Right.
And then I move into sarcasm. Oh, look, Marc Marquez is getting passed again. Wow, I'd love to be watching that on the TV right now.
No.
But instead, I'm just watching his number move up and down the live timing and scoring board. Wow, this is great. You're such a great director. So then finally, it was like Bez did pass him, and I was like, good, now we can stop paying attention to that and go back to the race that's interesting.
I know. And we were having a conversation on our website in the comment section that someone made a comment that it seemed like the F1 TV coverage has gotten worse. Like we're missing all the passes and I agree. I totally agree. I don't know what's going on there, but
in Formula One especially.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, so last time I was on, right, we was talking about Marquez Brownlee, who's friends with LH, who was playing the ping pong game with Charles and Fred and LH, right? Well, he did a whole thing behind the scenes of what they do in an NBA game. Fascinating, like how many cameras they have, where they have the microphones on so you can hear the shoes squeaking in the nets. It was really interesting. I'm like, if they can do all that in a live NBA game, what are you people doing?
I know.
Like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't understand why Formula One, you have people, just hire Ant Davidson. He'll figure this out.
He'll figure it out.
Ant would be like, you should be watching, like, do you not see the numbers? Like, can you not do, like, the gap is getting smaller. Yeah. Watch the dots. That dot is getting closer to that other dot, right? Like, we should be watching that battle.
Yeah, I know. And besides, I'm just sitting there watching the race, and it's like, oh, there's some passing and all that. And it's just like, what? What's going on? So I don't know. Anyway, so I was yelling at MotoGP because apparently Mugello is also being using the F1 director because I don't know why. I'm not sure why. Right.
And I think, and especially because it's Marc Marquez, I get it if it was for people that maybe, like, Iger is great. I want to watch that. But I get it that maybe if you don't watch MotoGP, you'd be like, I don't know who Iger is. Why should I be watching that? But Marc Marquez is like LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Like, if LeBron is playing, you should be watching it, right? Like, what are you doing? It's Marc Marquez. He could be 18th. Your camera should be on that guy at all times. Right. It's going to be nuts.
You should always be like Nick Harris and ask yourself, does anybody have anything for Marc Marquez?
That's right. And it's going to be Pedro Acosta next year. But anyway, it was great. And I love that it was so long that I was just like, I moved from anger to sarcasm. Like, that's how long it took them to figure out what we should actually be showing on TV. And usually MotoGP is pretty good at that, but I don't know.
Not this time.
I did also want to give a shout out one more time to Marco Bezzecchi because he actually had an Alex Zanardi helmet, memorial helmet. So that was really a nice touch too, that he had reached out to the family and asked them if they could do that. And it was really, again, gets at the heartstrings. Like, McLaren was like, this is for Jill DeFer. And I'm like, well, I'm not crying. You're crying. So it was just like, it was really great that he did that and that he was able to, show support for, such a great guy.
Good.
So
all right. Well, I got a couple of no-shit headlines here for you.
All right.
First one is, who really controls Williams' F1 team? A bitter legal battle has put this question center stage. Okay, I'm not going to go into details on this, guys, but I'm telling you, you should go look up Williams-Doralton lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because this thing is really spicy. And
it's super spicy.
Some pretty hefty allegations going on there, and there's some settling out of court, but back in court and back out of court, and some innuendos about who actually is really controlling Williams. And, it's pretty salty story. So I'm a little surprised there's not much more press behind this. It's kind of quiet out there on this deal. This is the company that owns Williams.
Yeah.
Formula One. That's the company, you know. And there's some serious allegations going up and down. And, so anyway, watch this.
I just think I always watch the James Vowles verdicts videos, but I hate how they zoom in on him. Like whenever he makes a point.
Yeah.
I hate, why? Stop. It should just be like this, right? Like there's no zooming in on you or me. We're just talking heads and that's fine. There's no need to zoom in on James Vowles. Yeah, and I can't wait until it'll never make it, right? Because, of course, they filter the questions. But I always love, first of all, that they're always like, when are we going to do better, James? Yeah, we. When are we going to do better? Right. But James just answers the question like it's a we. And then he talks about strategy. And I was like, oh, and that's when Carlos Sainz go, I believe I did well this weekend, James Vowles.
Right.
Carlos Sainz.
And the former marketing director, apparently.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see. But I would love for this story to make it into one of the Vowles verdicts because that zoom in is going to be super uncomfortable.
Zoom in. He was like, I don't know.
Next question, please.
She's gone before I joined.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I have a question from Todd that I'd like to answer next.
Right. Buzzing Aussie F1 star Oscar Piastri has a new species named in his honor.
Oh, is it a bee?
It's like a wasp thing?
A wasp?
I don't know. That's what I would have called it. I don't know what it is.
I mean, is it an Australian insect? Because then who knows, right?
Well, if it's an Australian insect, it'll kill you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It'll flat out kill you. Yeah, you got to stay away. So before you think, Piastri got a little insect name? Well, if it's Australian... There's a drop of one sting will kill you, then that's a pretty lethal.
There's no little anything in Australia.
No, there's no little thing.
If I've learned anything.
No,
but
there's nothing.
Yeah, Oscar was at the Isle of Man TT, so that's where he spent his break instead of going to Monaco. So.
Not in Monaco.
No, that was good to see too.
Yeah, and finally, I had to include this headline because of all the years we've laughed and said this. Those of you that have been listening to this podcast for a long time know what I'm talking about when I read this. The headline says, the crazy F1 track where it can rain on one corner and be sunny on the other, and how to see it for 639 pounds.
What a tagline. For 639 pounds, do I get to be on the sunny part?
Was this a JetBlue holiday? What is this?
Oh my gosh! You're gonna get stranded. You're gonna get stranded in the rainy corners. What's gonna happen?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and I bet Lando could do it for 40 pounds on an EasyJet, but who's counting? So,
I don't know. Wow.
All right. So anyway, all right. Well, that does it for this week. This is what we think about the news. You let us know what you think about the news, and you can do that by going to theparkformay.com. Share your opinion with Decorum and Civility. As always, a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters because we literally could not and would not do this podcast if it wasn't for you. You, my friends, are the only thing between us and no podcast. That's how important you are. So thank you for your support. And if you would like to support us, you can do that. Go to the website. Down at the bottom, over on the right-hand says support us. So click on that. There's multiple ways to support us. And we'd appreciate it. If you like the podcast, give us a good rating on your favorite player. And if you really like the podcast and you watch it on YouTube, you know what to do over there. You know exactly what you have. You have to subscribe, like, share, bell icon, do the stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube.
Except the reporting. Don't report us. We're great.
Yeah, don't do that.
All the other stuff.
So there you go. And then we will be back. I'll see if I can't scare up young Paul Charslini to review what we call the Monaco Grand Prix, but what Paul calls the Monaco Grand Prix. Well,
he better get ready, man. There's some, the schedule gets a little heavier, so.
I know, it gets very heavy. I know, you may have to be sitting in for him because he's got races he's got to do. He's
whatever.
Yeah, we got all these back-to-back triple headers.
Get your priorities straight,
Get your priorities,
This job that pays you in zeros is more important than your actual job.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
This job has a lot of zeros in that salary.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Get on it.
All right. Well, until next week when we come back to do it all over again, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Camera, saying so long, Grace.
All right. See you in a couple weeks.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
don't feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.